Welcome back to another episode of Keoni Chats. My guest today, he's gonna knock you out not only with his fist, elbow, knees, and feet. He's gonna knock you out with a great personality. Very easy to talk to once you get to know him and once you're able to break that ice. So Austin Candanoza is a professional MMA fighter based out of California. He did spend some time up here in the Pacific Northwest of Portland, Oregon, as he and I both started at Nike Portland together. So I was very excited to go into Nike just because of the history I have with the brand, sponsoring my school, all through my athletics. And while that carried me through my time there, Austin was able to turn his time with Nike Portland into a sponsorship for his MMA career. That was absolutely insane. I was like, oh man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. You know, as soon as I heard that they were able to back him in his pursuit of growing his career, you know, I got so hyped. That's just how I am. I hear that my friends are doing well in their respective careers, and I just want to shout from the mountain that, you know, I'm very proud of him. I'm very happy for him. So I was very happy that he was able to take some time on his down day to sit down. Actually, in the interview, we recorded it on Sunday, and that is his relaxation day, his down day. So he was sipping some white wine during the whole interview. So I thought that was absolutely classic, and you know, I wouldn't have it any other way. It was perfect Austin. You know, and before we actually started recording, he was worried about, you know, having to censor himself. I told him, no man, just be yourself. That's all I want. Just be yourself, and we'll have a great chat. So before I send you off to that interview, I do have my last entry for my month-long mission of trying different Black-owned restaurants within the Portland area using the website iloveblackfood.com. So this last entry is from the Spice of Africa, located in, I believe, Morrison Street, like a little bit off that, in Portland, downtown Portland. So I found that place. I looked at the menu. Actually, I had a little bit of trouble because a lot of the restaurants I did want to try originally, they were closed on the day, or just by the time I'm available to go get it, they're no longer open. So once I saw their menu, I was like, oh, this all looks great. I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. So I got the mango peach tilapia plate, as well as the curry chicken platter. And then to top it all off, I had the samosas, which was chocolate and marshmallow. So the flavor alone was absolutely magnificent because I got to try the spices coming from Africa. And when I put in the order and I picked it up, the woman was actually flying solo because unexpectedly she had to work by herself that night. So by the time I got the food, it was fresh, and it tasted absolutely amazing. So check it out. I'll throw the link into their website in the description below, and I'll also update my last 3 episodes and include information for those restaurants. I did think about doing that at first, so I'll check those last 3 episodes out and look at the descriptions for the restaurants that I went to and give them a try. You know, you got a vegan, Viking, and then we have this Spice of Africa. So unfortunately, February is the shortest month of the year, but it was so much fun. We'll see what other food adventures I can get into down the line. To keep up to date with episode releases and all other creative content released by KC Media and myself, follow KC Media on social media. That'll be KC Media 13 on both Instagram and Twitter, and Conlu K Media on Facebook. You can also find Keoni Chats episodes on YouTube under Keoni Chats. So subscribe, follow, stay in the loop as far as episode releases and all the other fun things I want to do with this brand I'm trying to build. So however you are listening to this episode on whatever platform you prefer, I hope you enjoy my chat with Austin Candanoza. All right, so I have a gentleman here that is taking a break from the ring today, or the squared circle, to come sit down with me, Mr. Austin Candanoza. I hope I said your last name right. How you doing today, buddy?
Well done, sir. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Pronunciation, really get that metronome going. It's like, okay, got this.
Much respect, Keoni.
So this is a white wine Sunday for you, or just is you kind of mix up? Because I know you're like before we started recording, you said that Sundays are your rest days. Wine is today. What was previous Sunday?
Tequila. Well, it was like tequila from Saturday night, and it just went into the that type of thing. But yeah, red wine and tequila are my go-tos for sure.
Ooh, yeah, I've been like my work I'm at now. They are very much wine drinkers, so I'm trying to like get into that. Also, it's a little bit of a slow pace because it could get dry.
What type?
I think it was like maybe like a Merlot is what I remember trying, and there's like a half and half blend that I've also tried, but those are really
right
the only two. Some of them was like great, and then I think my first ever wine I tried was from Trader Joe's. If you remember that place when you're up in Portland, it had no label. It just had a smiley face sticker. So
surprise.
Yeah.
Enter at your own risk or drink at your own risk. Yeah.
It really was, man. It really was, man. So we've come a long way, you and I, from young bushy-eyed people out of I mean, like I was out of college, but I wasn't sure where were you at when you started working at Necky Portland?
I think I was still an amateur fighter, so I think it was like a year. Oh yeah. I was just technically finishing up classes at Arizona State with their like online program, and yeah, that's so I was probably just finishing up. Then I remember that too because it was such a hell. I was getting ready for a fight and finishing up classes like finals, and then working too. Was like, bro, it was fucking brutal, dude. It was brutal.
I do remember you coming into work a couple of days and you're just like, you have the energy, but I could tell it was slightly forced.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't know if you heard, but I'm not like the 9-to-5 type, clearly. So yeah, it was just like, even though, I mean, I guess in terms of 9-to-5s, Nike's about as good as they get, in my opinion. But yeah, that was not the funnest of times. But you know what? It's done. It's over with. We're on to bigger and better things,
Bigger and better things. And then, so Cali kid at heart and born and raised. How'd you end up in Portland?
In Portland, actually, I had an aunt. She lived in Vancouver. So for those who don't know, across the bridge from Portland. And my mom wanted me to go to like be in a safer environment, didn't want me to go in school and just like the hood and shit like that, And so we up and leave, like the typical story. So that's how, for quick sidetrack right here. That's how I got my nickname, the Rolling Stone, when I was from one of my cousins when I was growing up. I was little, they called me that because I was always moving around, like constantly, like literally, like always a new school, new town, whatever. And so yeah, that's how it came about. So it was just like, oh man, I don't even know like what Vancouver. I was like most people, like Vancouver, Canada, like what is that? What are you what? And then yeah, it was a total culture shock. But then I kind of stuck around and through college, and then yeah, I was there for a little bit because actually I can't remember how long it was. When was that when we were last working? Do you remember?
I think 2016.
Okay, so yeah, it was a little while ago, and I was there for a little bit longer, and I was like, hey, I just want to get on with, especially at that store, that inline store, because especially just because of networking and whatnot. So that worked itself out, and then I was like, this is cool, great people, very nice people, all that, but yeah, I got to go. Like this rain is killing me, bro. This rain sucks. I hate this weather. Yeah, it was not my thing. But at the same time, like we were talking about earlier, I met a lot of really cool people and still talk to this day.
Yeah, it's it definitely can be very tiring, both mentally and physically, because you want to be outside. Because I love I mean, in April, I got really into like running outdoors. So it was like, this is
Sure.
great. I got a little color. And when it started getting cold and started getting like rainy, I'm just like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, bro.
I guess I'll
It's
just
like,
work out at
what?
home.
I always joke around. I tell people, I know I'm back in Portland when, you in our airports here where it's LAX or John Wayne, this is Orange County Airport, you know, you're used to seeing everyone, they're all tan and shit and all that. And then you go to PDX, everyone's just like a ghost. Like, everyone's so pale. You're like, oh, wow, this is different. It's like, even the white people are tan over here, but like out there in Portland, it's just like completely different. It's so funny to think about, man.
You got to put sunglasses on as you're walking through the terminal and be like, oh, God, you guys are so bright. Oh,
I know,
geez.
right? It's like, oh my God, have you guys been outside at all this year? Yeah, but then you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, there is no sun.
Yeah. But when there's, during summer, when there's sun, it's really nice to be at
Oh, it's
least be near
beautiful.
forest and whatnot. So, whew.
Yeah, I tell people, if you're considering moving there, don't go in the summer because that's like the biggest trick. The
Oh,
trick
yeah.
you do. Because it's the oh man, everyone said so green and just the air is clear and everyone's like, yeah, it's that green for a reason. Because
Yeah.
it rains all year.
Sometimes that rain is needed because we had forest fires here fairly recently. I think within the last 2 years.
Oh,
So
damn.
there was that, and then the California fires. I think it was like Alameda fires or something like that.
Oh, it's bad, dude.
How was that for you?
I was cool at the time. I wasn't there, so I was actually up in the Northwest at the time. But even, of course, well, yeah, we got it too because it was gray. It was like you didn't even go outside, and you're already wearing a mask as it is, and so now it's like, damn, I just gotta go out because of the air quality. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So just one more obstacle to even just train with the gyms being shut down, all that, and then on top of that, you can't even like just run outside without feeling like you have like a smoker's lung or something, So whatever.
Yeah,
Well.
I remember just I think I saw a photo on someone's Twitter of like in a car they're looking for it. It's like clear, but then on their side view mirror, it's just orange or black or just completely different colors. It's just like,
Yeah,
crap, man.
Fucking 2020, bro. Oh my God, 2020 was something else, man. I mean, it's not like it's gotten a whole lot better, but what a year.
Yeah.
What a year.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, there's so many things that happened already in 2021, but like, we got a new prez. How are you feeling about that? Because we also talked about a little bit of politics prior to this, we started the recording. So
yeah, that's I would okay, honestly, my ideology is more like progressive, so definitely wasn't stoked about either guy, right? But yeah, man, that's just like you have a fucking lunatic in the past 4 years in office, right? And then it's like, then you got like borderline dementia patient, coming in, and I was like, oh my God. But then again, it's like it's not as worse, right? It's like it just sucks having to pick the yet again the whole lesser than two evils type of deal, right? But man, that's a big interest of mine, politics outside of fighting. So it's I keep just up to date on a lot of stuff, independent wise, like independent journalists and whatnot, but yeah, I just it's a better option, but we still got a long way to go, you know what I mean? A long way to go. So yeah, man, we're still dealing with all this other shit as of now, so day by day. Day by day.
I know, like I decided to get into politics with this I think within this last 3 or 4 months or something like that. And
oh really?
Finally, like I think it was the first or second presidential debate between Biden and Trump. And I was just like, oh God.
Yeah, you're like, this is what I'm getting into. Okay.
I mean, I feel like if I were to dive into it, I should have dived into it like into a lesser stressed out one, like maybe with Obama was doing his election runs, but it's just like, nope, I jumped into the deep end.
Yeah, no kidding. Sometimes that's how you got. That's how that's the best way to go, in my opinion. But that was me. I was pretty fascinated at once when Trump first got elected, and seeing, I was like, how the fuck did this even happen? Like that was my thought on everything, and I just said, talked to a couple of people and that I knew that were in tune with politics and stuff. And I said, hey man, let me like give me some good sources to go to, you know. And I'm like, not like more like the mainstream networks, the MSNBC, Fox, CNN, whatever, but just something that's just kind of giving you the facts and not too much opinions or try to be a partisan hack or anything. So I went some good stuff, some good independent outlets and whatnot, and kind of stuck with it ever since. Man, just it is honestly just keeping up on it. It's like a full-time job in itself. Man. It really is. I'm so sure you know. And who's being genuine, disingenuous, and you know, and all that. And so, yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting.
Yeah. What websites are you using nowadays? Maybe you can do a little plug for them and hopefully get their viewership up.
Okay, so for like I'd say on terms of political commentary, I one of my go-tos is called the Majority Report. It's a guy named Sam Cedar, and he has like great guests on. David Packman. He's you know, both these guys are pretty even kill with their take. You know what I mean? Let's see, Secular Talk here and there. I think this dude's actually based out of Portland. It's called the Humanist Report. Have you heard of that?
I have not, no. But I
maybe
will.
you want to check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
He's pretty aggressive too. I like it, you know. but they kind of all are. But let's see. And then I think that's in terms of that. I mean, there's still a bunch of stuff, man. Like some real good podcasts too. That's called The Tightrope with Dr. Cornel West. I'm sure you heard of him. Dude's a legend. And yeah, and then even just like reading stuff from the AP. A lot of times like Politico, The Intercept, stuff like that. So if I just want to strictly just read things, even The Hill sometimes. So, but yeah, those are to name a few.
Yeah, I've you know, I check CNN just to like periodically just see what's going on, and then I just checked Oregon Live just to see local news, see how we're handling everything, and then other than that, I mean, I check Yahoo sometimes just to see like their news.
They have good articles though, man. They do. Yeah. I'd say they have good articles,
and a portion of them are not like house written. They're like tagging other people, or they're like revamping other people's stuff. So it's like they're helping out.
Right. I hear you.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So you mentioned also that so when I did research for you, and you know, I've voiced this to previous listeners or listeners of my episodes so far, I tend to just dive into social media and then I'll just see whatever I could find. There is a photo of you. I think it was maybe pre-fight or post-fight of you talking with someone with a microphone. So for you, in being in the professional sports realm, how is it like trying to manage media and also be like politically correct, or just try to make sure you give the correct answer? Not, this is genuine you. I'm sure like when you're talking to a reporter that's going to go into
the same thing.
It's the same thing?
Same thing. I hate it. I hate it all, honestly. I'm like the worst part. So you know what's funny? This one, we have mutual friends, but this MMA journalist was talking to a mutual friend of mine. He's a fighter as well. And he says, whenever I interview Austin, I think to myself, I don't think it's an interview. I think you don't interview that guy. You just experience him. Like, it was so like, he goes, this is so different, dude. Like I'm totally just, I don't want to say off the rails, but dude, I just, what you see is what you get. Like, bro, you've been around me. I don't switch up for nobody, dude. Like, it's just, this is who I am,
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard for me to like, I don't like doing these things because like, like you mentioned being politically correct. I'm not, dude. I swear all the time. It's just how I talk, which is what I love about our sport, is because like, it's not like the pre-rehearsed, the cookie cutter answers like you get in the NFL or the NBA or whatever, right? Oh, we just, we play hard, we'll bounce back, right? We're just like completely opposite, we're like, whoa, yeah, it's just bleeping out all the time and everything. So yeah, I all in all, I hate the type of stuff, the media and stuff, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, right? And even back before I even started fighting, I didn't even have social media. You know what I mean? So I joke around. I tell people I feel like I made like a pact with the devil to get an Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Because I fucking hate it, and I know I should be more active and stuff. So I've been working on it and trying to get someone to find some like a videographer and stuff, because I'm also looking into getting a Patreon and whatnot now that I'm gonna get this gym started. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be pumping out a lot of content in the real near future, because otherwise, the way I see it, if I don't engage like all the time, I'll just delete it, because I know I'm never gonna go on it, you know. So
It's such a crucial part now, and like not just day-to-day life,
Oh, yeah.
but like for yourself, and that's like a small business owner that's going to open up a gym, and
Yeah.
like let's say for myself that's trying to market a podcast, it's like I need this platform
yeah.
to tell people about Austin's episode. And you did also just had a little breaking news. You're opening up your own gym. How do you
Yes,
feel
sir.
about that?
I feel great, man. This is literally like legit a lifetime in the making, you know. Like honestly, I feel like if people say literally all the like way too many times, you know, it's so annoying. It was always literally, but I could almost say I literally grew up in a gym. You know, like I've been a competitive athlete since I was 4 years old. So back to when I was saying like I was always the new kid, that was totally my safe haven. You know, because it's like you're always a new kid. You know how it is. What? Okay, so I'm sure you've been to you transferred to a new school or something when you were younger, like elementary or whatever, middle school, and you know how everyone just stares at you, and you know they point at you in the hall like, hey, you're the new kid or whatever. You're like, good God, man. It's like I got that like every other month. It felt like, but all that frustration and everything was gone because I went to the gym, because that was my familiar environment. You know what I mean? And so I learned so much, and all the important things I learned in life were in the gym and through sports, martial arts and everything like that, you know? So yeah, it's cool to be able to now be able to give all the lessons that I've learned and everything that I know, and being able to pass off that knowledge to younger athletes that are real competitive and serious about their craft. You know what I mean? Kind of get to show them how I went about my daily grind, and you know, you get to have people hopefully that can adopt that to their approach, you know, to their daily routine.
Yeah. Did you ever, so in this journey leading up to you opening up your own gym, did you ever like take mental notes when you're at these other gyms? Be like, okay, I like this, I want to add this, or I like this, I like that. I don't really like
So
how they're doing this, but I do like this.
that's actually a great question, because so I'll break this up in two parts. For starters, I like don't come from money at all, like very, very humble beginnings, you know. So growing up, and especially like when I was getting towards college, I had to you know, scrape together enough money where I could get like one training session with like a really good trainer, you know. So if I could, I would find some like the best trainer I could find, or someone that would, you know, refer me, hey, this guy, you should train with this guy, or you know, give a session, see what you think. And I would tell them, like, going into the session with that trainer or that coach or whatever, I'd say, hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, all I was enough all I could afford was just like this one session. So I'm not trying to, I'm like, if you're cool with it, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions and stuff so I can take like these mental notes, and I can just apply it at home, because I won't be able to like train with you obviously on a routine basis. And honestly, like all the people I work with, they could respect that. And so they're like, yeah, no problem, dude. Or if you need to record these things, you know, go for it. And you know, and they try to figure something out, even to work with me or whatever, about, you know, moving forward, to keep training with them and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of how it was like the genesis to me being able to adopt like my own like not method, how do I put it? It's basically that's how it started, to where I was building my own routines and everything, because I was just taking bits and pieces of the best that I was working with, and then I applied it to my own career, you know. And so then when I was able to work with other athletes, especially young athletes, they would ask for help, and I always had like um, I was able to give them viable solutions, right? Whereas other guys will just tell you, oh, just keep practicing, keep working hard. It's like, bro, you're that's a waste of money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like it was ended up being a blessing in disguise, right? And so and then also, like when you mentioned like what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, that's kind of always been my mindset going into any venture, any sport, whatever. It's like I look at the landscape and, okay, these guys are doing this right, these guys are doing this wrong, now where's my niche, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's where like the real magic happens. That's where you get to totally blossom within your craft, you know? So I've always been someone where I've never been too prideful to ask, you know, for help or whatever, seek guidance. And I ask people, I go to people who have been there, done that. So when I started fighting, I went to veterans, you know, guys who were at the tail end of their career, looking to, you know, maybe they got another fight or two and they're going to retire. I would ask them all kinds of questions, and they would tell me everything. Go, man, I don't know. A lot of young guys, they're too hard headed to listen, but like take my word for it. And so then I would just start listening, and I've always been like that since I was little. Just honestly, as long as I could remember, is very observant, and I would learn from other people's mistakes. You know, that was the benefit I always like to say of being a younger brother. I would just learn from my other brother's mistakes and when he would get in trouble. So not to say I definitely got my fair share of trouble, but you know, it's my brother got the brunt of it for sure.
How was it for you to try to, you know, just keep pushing, to keep going on when you're a kid and had to face some?
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you have everything. You just like come from poverty, man. You know, you lack the resources, you know, and there's temptation everywhere with trouble. You know what I mean? You always can get in the wrong crowd. But again, as I was saying, being in the gym, that's what kept me out of that stuff, you know.
Okay.
And so, but
Yeah.
it's not to say, you know, but when you're young, dude, like that's not all that temptation of getting into trouble, getting with the wrong crowd. And, you know, you like as a kid to expect someone to just, you know, just say no or whatever. Right. It's just like, dude, it's a lot harder than people realize. And, but yeah, daily, man, it's just, I don't know. I've been very, although I like to think I take advice. Why I'm also very hard headed and stubborn as well. But I think stubborn's a better word. I'm very stubborn. So I also won't let someone defeat me. You know what I mean? And that's why I think I transitioned into fighting so well, is because it felt like just fucking like when fish go to water. You know, it's just because this is nothing, dude. Like based on your upbringing, bro. Like you know, you don't have Christmases, you don't have birthdays, you don't have all those things, and it's like when other kids have it, and that really can like frustrate a kid. But for me, I just channeled that into I'm gonna just get better. You know what I mean? One day I'm gonna get that. You know what I mean? So that's always things from my upbringing. I go into each training session with those things in the back of my head. You know what I mean? Like that's the motivation, or one of. So yeah, it's tough, but once you get through that, fighting and all that shit that people would think is like impossible and it's so difficult, it's not. Honestly, I really feel like this is easy. Fighting, training 2-4 times a day, that's easy, dude. You know,
Yeah.
life was difficult. It's no problem, man. This is just my career, you know, it's just life. So
Yeah. How, I mean, obviously you're not doing any big fights right now because of COVID, but when you were training and let's say you're like a week out before a fight, how did your mentality change towards that versus how it is now?
Well, let's see. Because I was fighting at 155, dude. I was just thinking about it, I gotta fucking make weight, dude. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's all
that's
it
true.
was. Because
That's true.
I'm cutting, because dude, you know, I was cutting over 30 pounds in 3 weeks to make 155. So it
Jeez.
was hell, man. And so for a lot of guys, they actually prefer that. I don't want to say guys, a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
They guys and gals, they prefer it because it keeps their mind off of, you know, like the for a lot of guys, they have the anxiety and stuff like that of fights. But yeah, I mean, it's such a beast, dude, to make weight when you're cutting that amount of weight. Yeah, damn, bro. It's just like, oh my god, if I could just have some water, if I could just have some just one regular meal, you know. But once you get past that hell, and then weigh-ins, you're like, okay, now it's time to fuck somebody up because you're so
Yeah.
frustrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole time. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not eating, you're not, you know, you're just training, you're just always like aggressive, you know, and that type of mindset. But it's all good, man. I mean, I like I said, the week, even the weekend, from just prioritizing your weight to just like now, honestly, the work's been done. You know,
Mhm.
like I put in the work I put in. I don't feel anxious or feel nervous or I feel stressed out because it's like I know I put in the work. So it's like when you study your ass off for an exam. I don't understand why people get jitters or they get stressed out going into an exam. If you put in the proper amount of time studying for that exam, well, what's there to be stressed out about? Now you just take it. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like fighting's like, dude, I put the work in. Now, you just got to remind yourself, like, why did I do it? Well, to go and fuck somebody up and get paid. Well, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? And cut a ungodly amount of weight in the process. So yeah, that's that.
Keoni Chats is proudly sponsored by Vibes Training. So Dylan Vibes is a former guest and good friend of the show, where he used to be a trainer for some of these big name fitness programs that can be found across the country. But he decided to take all of his experience and that certification and open up his own business. So if you go to vibestraining.com, click on the blue button to get registered, you'll download his app where you can have a plethora of workouts ranging from 5 to 60 minutes. And then you'll also have a progress report area where you can make sure that you are on track to reach that goal you set for yourself, whether it's lose more weight, get more flexible, or just tone up, because it is reaching spring. It is time where people are more out and about, and the sun's out a little longer, it's a little warmer, so why not try to get in your best shape? So the workouts, some of the equipment needed can go as minimum as nothing to maybe bands, dumbbells, barbells, and now he is including a backpack workout. So he's very creative, he's very energetic, and he's the greatest trainer you would need to really get yourself going back into spring and summer shape. So go to vibestraining.com, click on the blue button, get registered, and become Vibes Fit today.
Yeah, I can 100% relate with them because I'm a former high school wrestler, so I know cutting weight and then
it's because of
up.
you guys that we have to cut so much weight, because wrestlers think, oh, well, I don't have to weigh in the day of. I got a whole 24 hours and then some to rehydrate. Cool, because we weigh in the morning before the fight. And so they think, oh, we got all this time to rehydrate, so I'm gonna cut 30, 45 pounds or whatever, and then so now the rest of us have to do it. You know what I mean? Because then we got to balloon back up too, right?
You're welcome. I had nothing really to do with it, but as a wrestler, you're welcome.
Exactly. Yeah, on behalf of the wrestling community, right? No, but it's all good. I'm moving up to 170 now, so dude, I'm good. I'm good. I feel fucking powerful.
Those days where like I had to like cut weight. This is like my freshman sophomore year, where it was like easy because everyone were like locked in a room, running around like crazy, wearing like 4 layers of clothes
with your hood tied and shit.
And then we're all like spitting into like water bottles and
right. In class, I remember that dudes that have big old water just, or they had the jug. Yeah, man.
Yeah, which is like, if it's like clear see-through jug, then that's just disgusting, because people are like, "Oh, you're drinking some water?" No, do not drink that.
Yeah, I fucking wish.
Damn. Yeah, but so you actually were an MMA fighter for a really long time, because you were a basketball player. Did anything you learn from playing basketball carry over? Probably not, but you never know.
Yeah, honestly, it actually surprised me more than I would anticipate, and anyone else would probably assume as well. Because in terms of just like, obviously, there's nothing technique wise or anything, really like that. Obviously, but I would say I noticed this pretty soon. Once I started fighting, was guys' preparation. It was so sporadic, Mm-hmm. Whereas, of course, okay, so you wrestled, and so you've been on, essentially you're still on team, even though it's an individual sport. So you have practice every day. You have workouts, you have weigh-ins, you're on a regimen. Whereas in fighting, it's individual sport, especially when you're a professional. You kind of just do your own thing, right? It's up to you. You can show up if you want. Like, there's no consequences or anything. If you don't feel like training that day, you don't have to, right? But I was so used to the routine, and especially in basketball, it's all about drilling, right? You get in the gym and you just drill for hours. And I have like was, I'm sure you probably know, since you know, if you kept up with me on social media, I have like a psychotic routine, you know, like training regimen and all that. So yeah, I'm looking around and I'm just like, I don't see the same faces every day. You know, guys are kind of just like, I'm half-assing it and all that. And that's the main thing I think that translated for me and ultimately benefited me in fighting was the routine, you know, was the daily grind. Like that was, you always have to just embrace that daily grind. And a lot of fighters don't, because they don't come from that type of environment. You know what I mean? So that, I would say that, and there's certain things that I can do athletically where a lot of guys can't, or I can pick things up very soon, because especially when you're in a team sport, you know, you're competing just to stay, whether it's on the court, on the field. Whereas in fighting, you're just you're training against guys, but it's mainly like you're just you're working to compete against that other person on fight night, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. Like there's always that competitive environment. Like, dude, you're not even going to be on the team if you can't keep like stay on point, right? Especially as a higher level you go in sports and team sports in particular. So yeah, I think that it was those things that really helped me, I would say, burst onto the scene in fighting, and I was able to, you know, remain undefeated professionally, and you know, and then even just little things like, I would say my footwork, you know, being a basketball player, it was much easier to pick up boxing and striking, you know, things right away. And, you know, just have a little more explosiveness. So like if I throw a flying knee, like the way I throw a flying knee is a lot more powerful, and I can get a lot higher than your average MMA fighter, so to speak, right? Because, you know, you're jumping, you're explosive. Yeah, exactly. You got the explosiveness. And even for a Mexican, you know, I was able to jump pretty high. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those things you kind of like along the way as you're training, you're like, oh, maybe this probably has something to do with it, you know, being a basketball player in the past or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy to think though, man. It seemed like just like in another life or something. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, because like I actually didn't know that about you. Because when I knew that you're a public figure, so I was like, okay, I can Google him, and then we'll see what comes up. And when I saw like your high school basketball stats, I was just like, wait, what? You did
Wait,
basketball?
isn't it funny? Like I played basketball during wrestling season, ended up wrestling. You know what I mean? It's weird, but yeah, people, they tripped out when they found out. They're like, when I first started training, I just went in the gym like I just wanted to learn, because I had friends that fought, and I was and that was my thing. I couldn't quite commit to, like early on I did do things like, you know, boxing and stuff, but I couldn't commit to it because of basketball. It's such like a full-time job, right? And yeah, I always wanted to do it. And once I stopped playing ball, then I started training a little bit, and I just picked it up so fast. My coaches were like, dude, you should fight. And I was like, what the fuck? No, dude. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm like in my early 20s. Like, you dudes have been doing this since, you know, like since 5 years old or whatever, their whole life.
Yeah.
And they're like, bro, you just sparred with the guy in the UFC. You just sparred with the guy in Bellator, and you look great. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, I'm telling you, bro, you can make a lot of money, this and that. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I didn't really think anything of it. But oh, here's a cool story. We'll circle back to Nike Portland. So John Jones comes in, right? You know John Jones, obviously. So he comes in, and he's like, I'd say definitely one of my inspirations, and especially after I'll tell you why. But he was always one of my favorite fighters. You know, him, Anderson Silva was always my favorite in terms of MMA, and then like guys like Masvidal, Diaz. You know, but yeah, he comes in because he has a grappling match with Dan Henderson. Pops into the store, we're talking, and he's like, "Oh, you train?" Because, you know, a lot of times, even though he's the greatest of all time, when you go out in public, you don't meet a lot of other people who train and fight. You know, it's like they might not even know who he is, even though he's like the biggest star in the sport next to Conor McGregor, right? So we're talking, and he's saying, he goes, "Oh, you train this and that?" I go, "Yeah, I'm an amateur fighter, but," I was like, man, I kind of got late in the game, so I probably won't do it, you know. And he goes, "How old are you?" And I think at the time I was like 22 or 23, something like that. And he goes, "Oh, dude, you're young." He goes, "Bro, you're young, man." And he's like, "Fuck, dude, you can still be great, like for sure. Maybe great, make millions, like, dude, you're fine." But like the way he said it with his confidence, like just, And that's the thing about John, bro. Like his self-belief is so on another level, dude.
Mhm.
And so it was so inspiring to be like, man, I remember I got home that night after the shift and I go, dude, I'm doing this. Because like that, like that level of self-belief, like just instantly, like as soon as I said that right away, he goes, dude, you'd be great. You're fine. Like you're young. Just go, he goes, just stay in the gym, stay getting better. Like you'll be fine. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm doing this.
There you
Yeah, I'm
go.
doing this. You know what I mean? And ever since I never looked back. So yeah, man, that was awesome. It was cool to see like a guy you look up to in the sport. And then like he is definitely like what really catapulted this whole thing for me. I can honestly say that.
So with, let's say, even when you get into amateur phases and now professional phase of your MMA career,
Yeah.
your friends, do they pretend to pick a fight with you just to see how you react, or are they just like,
Nah,
nope, we're not messing with them?
well, not really. I mean, they especially like some of my family, like my brother, dude, he knows I fuck him up, but he always comes around. He's like, he'll just walk around and like, just whenever I'm with him, he'll just like mean mug me and be like, AC, I'll fuck you up. I'm like, well, shut up, man. I'll smoke you, dude. But because it's just the same thing, you know. But every once in a while they'll joke around. But no, it's
Yeah.
never. Honestly, I can say this. I've never been in a fist fight or anything like that with a good friend of mine. Nothing like that. Like I don't consider you a friend if it escalates to that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than joking, no, and it never gets to that point. I think
Okay.
they know.
Yeah.
I think the word's out by now, right?
Because I remember when we were working, I think maybe you're in women's running, I was in men's running, or vice versa, where you were showing me a move where like you fake like you're gonna kick, and then as I like swipe my legs back, you just hit me right in the face. Like, that's a move, man. I was just like, well, I'm never gonna, get to that point again with Austin. That's just that's
Yeah,
terrifying.
yeah. I know. I was probably just so. See, that's the thing, though, bro. You get so pent up at a job. You say, "Fuck, I just want to train." Hey, man, Keoni, remember this move I showed you? Check this out, pop.
Yeah.
That's probably how it went. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I didn't hit you, so just remember
Oh,
that.
yes,
All
yes.
right,
I'm still in one
that's
piece
assault.
because I'm pretty sure I've been missing a cheekbone at that point. But
Yeah, exactly.
do you remember how you felt leading on to your first fight?
Man, I actually was pretty excited, dude. I was like, fuck yeah, man. I was just ready to get in there. I was just, even though you're fighting in this like little ass casino and all that, right? But you're thinking like, oh man, it's going to be like the UFC, right? You're just pumped, ready to get in there. And yeah, honestly, I was more excited or more just anxious in terms of like, I just want to get in there type of deal than I wasn't like scared or anything. That's another thing people don't realize. Fighters don't get scared. They just, once in your locker room, it's kind of stressful because you're just like, man, let's go. Especially the higher you are on the card, you're just sitting there and you're waiting. And you're trying to stay warm, but at the same time, you're just like, man, let's go. Let's get this shit going, man. And but once you get your name called, you're like, all right, man, you're up next or whatever. You're just like, okay, cool. That just goes away and you're just ready. You're just like locked in. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's my first fight. Honestly, I was just ready just to go whoop some ass, man.
Yeah. Is it, are you just, I don't know, as for me, like if I was in your situation, I just want to get that first punch in. Either like,
oh yeah,
he punched me or I punch him. Then like, you're like, okay, the nerves are shaking out. I'm ready to go. Everything that I'm trained in for last week just starts kicking in.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. I mean, that's why a lot of times I'll tell younger fighters just, hey, man, if you can, first just move around, just get the feel of the canvas on your feet and everything. And just, if you want to throw a couple of feints out there and, tie up with them. Even the best thing to do sometimes if you got a lot of jitters is just tie up and then get in the clinch on the cage. And then you kind of take a couple of deep breaths and then it's like, okay, I've been here before. I've done this before. It's like, I've done this in training, and then you can kind of start landing some shots and then it kind of just goes away. I guess the stress, if you want to call it that, goes away. You just start fighting from there on.
Okay. Now, for you, when you are training kids, have you encountered anyone that's just like, oh, I watch Conor McGregor fight, I just want to imitate all his moves, or you're just
all the
like,
time. Yeah, yeah. They, you know, but even you have like adults coming in like, yeah, bro, I'm fucking 200-0 in the streets or whatever. It's like there's all these kind of just sketch bags that come in the gym, and yeah, and you tell them, and you know, everyone wants, they see what they see someone on TV and they want to emulate that. And it's like, dude, that's cool and all, but the way they got to that point, that's where you need to understand. You know what I mean? Just slow it down, and you got to get the foundation, build your foundation, and then you take off from there. But you can never cheat the foundation, man, ever. You can't skip those steps, and then you know you gotta just let them be known, like, hey, bro, I know you think you're just gonna just land that one nice left hand, and then boom, lights out, and then you're a millionaire, but it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get your ass on those mats, do the drills, and then day by day you build those blocks in your foundation, you know?
Because it's either training for a lifetime, or B, it's
Right.
just glamorized from movies. Where it's
Yeah,
just like,
exactly. I mean, and that's the thing, dude. People know that I train a lot every day, but dude, what I put on my social media is just such a glimpse of what I do. You know what I mean? Like it's hours every single day, every week, month, year. And so, yeah, I mean, people don't see that. They just see the finished product. You know what I mean? On
Yeah.
fight night, on TV. And it's like, dude, you gotta, if only you spent like a whole day with one of us, and then you would see, I think you would definitely get an appreciation, like, oh, wow, that's some fucking hard work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's just everyday type of stuff, you know? So,
So,
man, I one day at a time.
I like, so let's say when you and I came in together at Nike Portland, and then the next class came in, it was something about me like helping them, the newbies, get their knowledge up to where I am, or maybe even further, just that way, passing down the experience and passing down the knowledge. I enjoy to this day, anytime I have to train someone. For you, having to help kids get to, become the next you, or become the next Conor McGregor, what is that like for you?
It's cool, man, but it's always been a passion of mine. So yeah, I can't stand when even guys at the top of whatever their industry is, they come from home beginnings like myself, they don't give back or even feel an obligation to give back. You know what I mean? Like that makes no sense to me. It's like, dude, you knew what it took, and you obviously, no one does it alone. You have a lot of help along the way. Like, don't try to kid yourself and think like you did that all on your own. You know what I mean? So like, oh man, put people on game. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just make an appearance. Don't just have a camp or whatever for a couple of days in the summer. Like, build something, build some infrastructure, and take people along and show them something. Take them under your wing if you can. You know what I mean? Or put them in position. So yeah, dude, I totally love that. And I love kids that grew up like myself, and I mean, hey man, I tell them this is what I know. I'm trying to tell you everything that I know. And so hopefully that can get you to where you want to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then, so Seth Murphy, I believe you met Seth for a little bit. We worked together. Blonde haired kid. But yeah, anywho, but so, he is
blonde white kid in Portland. What?
I know, crazy, right? But so I trained him for a little bit, and then when I start to see him like really pick it up and be able to, be more comfortable and really able to like tap into that knowledge, I was just like, all right, man, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, there is some self fulfillment. You know what I mean? Just personally, it's like, even if what like you did such a big thing to help someone get to where I did, just keep it inside. But you just, as long as they know, and that's it. That should be good enough, right?
That's
know what I mean?
That's
yeah.
It.
But yeah, it is cool to see someone else's journey that you maybe helped along the way, right? That's very fulfilling as well for yourself.
How long have you been training kids?
Not, I mean, like, I don't do it consistently, but every once in a while, some parent might hit me up like, hey man, you think you can train my work with my kid, maybe do mids, show him some boxing, whatever, but I'd say off and on for shit, dude, like over a decade plus, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, a decade plus. Yeah.
Any of those kids, have you kept track with any of those kids? I mean, it's probably hard because of life and you're training yourself.
Yeah, but it is tough. I mean, every once in a while, like, their parents will hit me up. hey, so and so won their competition, this last grappling competition, or they got a gold medal in their amateur boxing tournament, whatever. So it's cool to hear stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like I said, earlier, just being able to get a glimpse of someone else's journey. You know what I mean? That's all you can really do is just wish them the best, and
Exactly.
yeah, that's it. So it's cool, man.
So if people check on Austin's Instagram feed, you do see some of the kids he trains. They're wearing shirts that says Futura Champion, which in English means what?
Future champion. So futuro campeón, future champion in Espanol. So yeah, it's that was one thing I kept getting I kept getting shit from parents. Like, hey man, how come you don't make any kids? Or the kids that would train at some of the gyms that I would train at, like, oh, I want one, because I would always have merch, and like
Sure.
Nike would send me shit, and I'm like, okay, so I'd put my own stuff on it, or they'd send it with me, or send it to me with stuff already. And I was like, I'm sorry, man, like I got like a men's small, but that's like, that's all I got, dude. And so I go, man, like let's yeah, a lot of these kids, man, they were, it's cool because some of them were working alongside me, and they became like there's a kid like Jordy, he's like little brother I never had, and so that's why if you go on my IG, he's probably the one wearing it. I think he's the first picture that he's the one wearing it, and I kind of took him on my wing, and yeah, so and that's a kid, man, who was in the gym working with me, just real nearby every day. So it's like, I told him, I was like, bro, you're gonna be a future champion. Just stay in the gym, and he said, that's kind of how it came about. And then, of course, my ethnicity and the culture in a lot of the gyms I trained at, especially in SoCal, it's real Hispanic and whatnot. So, kept it in the culture, and that's kind of how that came about. So every once in a while, you gotta show love to the youngins.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting to, like, they'll have that shirt for a very long time. Even like when they outgrow it, they'll still see it in their closet, or just like it'll be ingrained in their memory to like, I got trained by Austin.
Hey, I got a funny story too to go with that. Okay, sorry for cutting you off, but they I remember the day I took those pictures, there was a little kid, I think his name was Oscar. He was real little, and he was crying, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? I was like, oh, what happened? I thought maybe someone hit him or something, whatever. He just was throwing a fit or whatever. And someone goes, hey, do you have a shirt for Oscar? And I go, oh shit. I know I just brought a few just for to take pictures, and I go, but I'll get him when I get him. She goes, oh yeah, he's really sad because he didn't get a t-shirt. Because the one that took, I go, just keep the shirt, who took the picture of the kids. And so he was upset because he didn't get his shirt. And I was like, oh man, I felt hella bad. It was so funny, dude. I mean, it wasn't funny, but it kind of was, but whatever.
Yeah, because kids are crying about the simplest things, and just like,
and I was like,
share the love.
Like, bro, I'm gonna come back and like tomorrow, you know what I mean, and get you a shirt. Just like kick back, dude. I got you. But you know how kids are. So that was I made me think of that right away. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh damn, man, that's because I have seen like some of those folks that we worked at Nike Portland with. They wear you have adult size shirts, but it says AC Nose. It doesn't say Champion de Futura. So what you're sponsored by Nike. That's just insane for me to think about, because you and I started at the same place. Now you are repping them when you're out on the square circle or octagon.
Hey, so all those whack ass managers I had, who got the last laugh now, baby?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Bro, hey, come back at me with everything. You know me, man. I want all the smoke. That's I personally just get satisfaction in some of that low key, because that's the funny part. Because let's be real. This this is from Nike to Nike guy.
Yep.
People try to snake their way to get up on campus, or for those that don't know, layman's term, Nike headquarters.
Yes.
And we've been victims of that. And oh well, like I said, who got the last laugh?
How did that partnership come about? Like, did you reach out? Obviously, you had your foot in the door being an employee there
Right.
already. So just having to get that meeting in with whoever you need to get meeting with. How did that
Yeah.
go?
Yeah, it was cool because I mean it's obviously totally organic. You know, I just was had a lot of friends in high places out there, and and we were talking about earlier, I met a lot of great people, and they said, oh, once I was turning pro, they're like, oh, you're turning pro, but let me get you some gear, man. I'll get guys at the Nike combat team on in that wing. I'll get them to send you some gear, and it just kind of happened like that. And so every time I had a fight, they would just shoot me a bunch of free shit, and man, it's real cool to just have a bunch of cool gear just at your doorstep. You know what I mean? And then of course, putting my own spin on it with my merch and everything, which is going to be. I should be getting some stuff sent soon, some Nike stuff, which I'll be releasing. Did you ever get an AC No shirt?
I did not know.
Damn it, Keoni.
Hey,
Why don't
man,
you have one?
I thought that was an inner circle thing.
Oh, nah, bro, not even, man. Nah, God, now I feel bad. All right, I'm gonna after this. Give me your address. I'm gonna get you some stuff sent to you for sure, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Anywho, but yeah, so that's basically how that happened, and it was very organic. And then one thing led to another, and so yeah, just hooking your boy up with some free shit. It's cool.
There you go, man. And how was that kind of collaboration process when you did put your own spin on it? The AC Nose, and then the shirts for the kids, and then I'm sure whatever you have also coming in down the
Yeah,
pipeline.
it was cool because I've always been very like a creative person, and as when we were talking earlier, I don't like watch TV and stuff at all, or play video games and everything like that. So I just like creating when I'm in my free time, you know what I mean, or like learning, creating. They go hand in hand to me. So I would just mess around with designs, and I remember part of my degree was IT. So you learn, like, part of your prereq was like, was it graphic design. So I got a little familiar with Photoshop and Illustrator, and so I knew how to do all this stuff on my own already. So I would just mess around on my free time with things, and then but also working with Nike and then having a stint out at the Nike headquarters as well, you really get to learn like the ins and outs, textiles, colors, patterns, what goes well together, all those things in terms of design. So it was cool just to be able to take everything. I'm someone who I take what I learn and then put it in my own realm. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
that I don't, and I'm just so we're clear. I don't knock anyone for having a 9 to 5 or anything like that. Obviously, I had one. We all had one, but I'd rather take what I learned in college, take what I learned at Nike and everything and fighting, and put it into my own brand. So that way you can see all your fruits of your labor. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically my approach to it. And so, yeah, the merch, the collaboration was cool, man. You just, you get some gear, and then you just put your own spin on it, and you get the best of both worlds. This is the way I see it.
Yeah, dude, that's just when I started seeing those on, like, let's say Adam Chang's Instagram or like Daniel Traz, I was just like, this guy made it.
Yeah,
this guy made it. There it is.
I'm just getting started, baby. Come on, man.
Journey just began.
Exactly.
So you're professional now. You're sponsored. How is it getting all that money and trying to be financially smart with it? Is it easy to let slide?
No, because well, again, when you come from more of a humble background, you learn how to budget, you learn how to save, and you're not going to go crazy with the money. So, and I actually coming off in a pre-COVID, so this is the worst timing, dude. So I had a torn labrum, so I'm coming off of that, and so right when I get back to full strength, that's when, like, I'd say maybe a month later, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I was ready to get back in there. I'm like, all right, bro, I'm gonna fight as many times as possible, and then boom, everything just gets shut down. So I saved everything that I made in my fights and everything, and just kind of budgeted and saved it that way. So I was able to, like, I didn't feel like, oh man, like I'm desperate, I don't know what to do type of deal, So yeah, that's kind of the way I always go about it. And I don't even like, I don't know, I just don't even like spending money like that. I like investing in my craft, you know what I mean? So if I get some money, I'll put it back into my training and trying to take everything to the next level, because that's what got me there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So or like merch, because that stuff is like cool to me. I like building, I like creating. So yeah, just going off, and the way I see it, why fucking risk my life to go have a car payment or a house, you know what I'm saying? Like, what, that doesn't even make sense to me. Like, I'm risking my life to be able to pay on this one car for the next 10 years or whatever, and I probably will get bored of it in like 3 months. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's the point, dude?
Keoni Chats is proudly sponsored by Cove Hard Yerba Mate. Josh Mackler is a former guest and good friend of the show, and after our episode together, he actually sent me over some of his products to try, and I have to say my favorite so far is the berry flavor, where I honestly, I don't know what to expect when into hard yerba mate. I mean, yerba mate in general, I was very much unknown about. So I tried just the regular kind first, and then I tried the hard version, which is what Josh provided for me. And I gotta say, it honestly, at first, it did take a little adjusting. And then once you get to, like, let's say that second sip, third sip, and then continue on with the drink, I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. And, you know, I mean, it's not to like put any knock against him. I could say that about wine. I could say that about any new beer. I can say that about anything, really. It just takes like that second, third, fourth attempt to really just let it enjoy yourself. So it's very fresh as far as all the nutrition facts is concerned. It's very low in sugar, carbs, and calorie count. The whole seltzer kind of thing was good. It was fun for a while, but now that the market is kind of growing and expanding into trying hard yerba mate, I'm very happy to help Josh get his company's name out there with my platform. So if you're interested in trying out some hard yerba mate from Cove, you go to hardyyerbamate.com, hardyyerbamate.com. And then once you start shopping around, seeing what you like, use the discount code Keoni Chats Cove. That's KEONI CHATSKOVE for 25% off your total purchase. So I'm just so flabbergasted that I say that I have a discount code. So thank you to Josh, thank you to Cove, and I hope everyone gives this a try and just open your mind to something different, because, you know, enjoy as spring is coming about. You know, you want to be able to relax, but you don't want to worry about, let's say, drinking a beer and having to feel full and bloated. But Josh's hard yerba mate, you drink it, you consume it, and you don't feel heavy. You don't feel heavy in the midsection. That, for me at least, that's important. So give them a try. Use the discount code Keoni Chats Cove, KEONI CHATSKOVE. Must be 21 and over to order. And please, everyone, enjoy responsibly.
So yeah, that's the way I look at it. I'm more into things that like keep me stimulated and shit, not just like spending. It does nothing for me personally. So
Yeah,
but
if anything,
if it does, you know, hey, to each his own, you know, go for it. But
yeah, like
not me.
if anything, like just get a car that gets you to point A to point B. And
That's exactly what I have.
It doesn't have to be pretty.
Bro, for years in Cali, I had like a white basic ass Nissan Sentra. Got like 30 miles to the gallon, push start, Bluetooth. That's all I need. I'm good to go.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Because, bro, did you bring up the regiment, my regiment yet? We were talking about that a little bit earlier, right?
Your routine.
Yeah, routine. So
yeah, we touched base on it.
There was a point. So back to that, there was a point where in the first thing in the morning, I would train in San Diego, right? And I was living in South Orange County. So I deliberately lived in more South County, because I was like, man, I'm gonna start training in San Diego. So I want somewhere a little bit closer, you know, and I'm just hop on the 5 and I'm good to go. So I would train in the morning in San Diego. Then in the afternoon, I'd come back and train in Irvine, which is back in Orange County. And then in the evening, I would go train in Santa Monica. So we're talking about like an hour plus south of where I lived, back to Orange County, maybe to like 20, 30 minutes from where I live in Orange County. And then Santa Monica is about an hour 20 from where I live, north in LA. So all in one day, that was my like commute. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro. I was like, I don't care if I'm fucking Audi or a Benz, bro. Like that's gonna kill me on gas. You know what I mean? So that's basically my approach. I was like, dude, I don't need anything special. I'm cool, man.
Yeah, because you there you are. So just going off what you just said, that's like what 3 to 4 hours of driving.
Easily. Yeah, easily.
Yeah, it's I don't have Nike sponsorship money yet, but like I always have stuff. I have stuff saved for rent. I have stuff saved for like after rent's like saved. It's like feed me and then give me some sort of entertainment because with this we're like go entertain the girlfriend with something and just just life things to make you feel happy.
Gotta stash away for a raining day, as a good friend of mine would always say.
Exactly. But I mean, you're in California, so you only get rainy days.
True, but when I'm in Washington, definitely get rain, snow, all of it, man. I was getting all of it.
You're living there. You're just like you're in the snow.
Exactly, bro. It was like, what the fuck is it? And even my little dog. You see my little dog, right, Mowgli?
Is Mowgli right next to you?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's in the house because he's I raised him. I rescued him when he was 2 months, so he's like a little killer himself. He's a little Yorkie Schnauzer mix, but he thinks he's like a lion or something. This dude tries to kill everything. You know what I mean? He's got anger issues. So he grew up with me in the gym. So he went everywhere with me. He grew up with nothing but me and fighters. He's got that testosterone and shit. Yeah. All that. Little dog syndrome.
Well, like spiritually, that little dog probably is a jacked up MMA fighter, just ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. In his mind, he does what his dad does. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself taking this career of MMA and then also being a mentor to some kids and the Nike sponsorship? Where do you see yourself taking this? Like, let's say down the line.
Yeah, I see. In terms of fighting, staying undefeated, of course. Wealthy and healthy. That's where I see myself in terms of my fight career. But kids, okay, so this is something that has been in the works. Honestly, like I plan to do this honestly since high school. I had planned this out, but I always want to start a nonprofit where I started a training facility. It was essentially a world-class training facility. So the best equipment, all that stuff, for young athletes in lower income areas. So in a nutshell, it would be like the total student athlete experience where they would have a GPA requirement, and that was their way to make sure that they can stay and train at the facility. So there's a part where a section in the facility where they would do their schoolwork and studies. If they need extra tutoring, all that, they get that. And then they do all their training specific to the sport. So it could be all athletes, you know what I mean? It could be whatever, fighters, basketball players, football, baseball, soccer, whatever. And yeah, and then it would just help them get the proper education that they needed, you know what I mean, that they don't really get, especially at the, when you're in a lower income area at the schools, you sorely lack resources,
Yeah.
So that was something that, in a nutshell, I'm planning to do. Still in the works. Should be also, once I get this gym going, now I got the facility laid out, I'll get the nonprofit going, and then we'll get it going from there.
Oh man, that's huge. That is just huge.
Yeah.
Really got to help out these kids, and really got to help out those that came from your kind of background that need your help to get to where you are right now.
Absolutely, bro. Like I said, you can't forget where you come from, and dude, man, what's the legacy you're gonna leave behind?
Yeah.
Like my favorite quote. I love quotes, but my favorite quote is, "Be ashamed to die until you've done something for humanity." That's my favorite quote. So I try to live by that. You know what I mean? So
Who's that from?
God damn it! Let me. I have to go through my fucking notepad, but I know who it is. I'll send it later, but yeah, then you can post it on the shit. But
yeah, I'll put
it's like
caption.
a real old dude, but it's such a dope quote in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, there you
go. That like hits deep.
So to kind of wrap this up, you are a Mexican that's in an MMA industry, career wise. That's in a lot of sports across this whole country can easily make the argument of being white, primarily white. So for
Huh?
you to be a minority in this sport, what does it mean to you, and where are you wanting to hopefully see it go down the line?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a little tricky because when you're in the sport, there it's on one hand, it's very diverse. Honestly, I feel like it might be honestly the most diverse sport, maybe
Yeah.
next to soccer, I guess. But like, because dude, at this point, you have not just fighters but promotions from ranges from all through North America, Canada, North America, Mexico. So you have Canadians, Americans, Mexican fighters all throughout Latin America, South America, throughout Europe. Even now, like even in the UFC, you have two Nigerian champions. You know what I mean? So it's so diverse. And then of course you have male and female uh, fighters as well. So you have that. But on the other hand, the executives, especially at the probably say the top two promotions, are a white.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So the president, the owners, all of that, and then on top of that, like our demographic is mainly comprised of uh, white males. So myself, I've even and like many other fighters of color, we've experienced, like on social media and shit, guys, saying like racial stuff towards us on our social media and everything. You know what I mean? We get that a lot, which of course, if you go to a Caucasian fighter, they're not going to experience that, right? So yeah, I think that's definitely the negative to our sport, but at the same time, you know, I have the option, and this is also intentionally I do this. Like I'll go and fight, like a lot of times in Mexico. You know what I mean? Because I'm a firm believer in that the motto of go where you're appreciated and respected, rather than just where you're tolerated. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's where I'll go. I can go fight for a Mexican promotion in Mexico, and you look around and who's running it? It's people that look like you. You know what I mean? And so you're essentially providing your services to your own culture. You know what I mean? I think that's dope. And and even the difference, like fighting in the States, you're treated like like fucking like livestock or property almost, and then you go fight in Mexico and it's like, bro, you're treated with respect. They appreciate you. You know what I mean? It's real cool to be around that environment. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think that's it. All in all, that's kind of like my experience
Mhm.
personally as a minority in the sport. But yeah, I mean, obviously, and of course, it's changing because it's our sport is rapidly it's mainstream, but it's rapidly growing across the globe. So I think I'm to be optimistic. I think that's going to change. The negative parts, right?
Yeah.
Ignorant people are going to be ignorant, but I think all in all, it's still going to change in a better trajectory.
Yeah. It's just that time and that effort that people have to make to start thinking about. Like
Right,
these are athletes. They're doing their passion. They're doing their thing. It
right,
shouldn't matter what their color of skin is or where they're from.
right.
It's just like just enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of guys, I'd say, I guess coincidentally, if you want to call it that, there a lot of conservatives are fans of our sport. You know what I mean? Like, I guess politically, ideology wise, they're conservative. So, you have to deal with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you're like, but
Yeah, and then while you're after you started answering my question, I did think about it. I was like, yeah, MMA is very diverse. Even like let's say Conor
yeah,
McGregor, he might be Caucasian, but he's Irish, so he's
right,
different
right. I mean,
in that
look,
sense.
look, look at the UFC champions. I mean, you got if you go down the men's. I mean, you have Stipe. He's from heavyweight. White dude from Cleveland. Then you go to light heavyweight, a Polish guy, middleweight, a Nigerian, a welterweight, Nigerian, uh, lightweight Khabib, from a Russian guy, 45. I think he's Australian or from New Zealand, whatever. And then 35, a Brazilian. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, dude, it's super diverse, or 25, whatever. Anyways, but yeah, and so you have women who are, the face of women's MMA is Brazilian. She's Brazilian and lesbian. You know what I mean? So it's like it's cool. That's what I do appreciate about our sport is you can just be yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of trolls and whatever, but I don't pay them any mind because again, the motto I live by in terms of trolls is just, you know, you can't feed the strays. You know what I mean? So just fuck them. Get out of here. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is perfect. All right, Austin, before I let you finish off or top off that white wine, I do ask 2 questions from this pack of 170 hypothetical, just to wrap up my interview.
I love me some hypotheticals. Fire away, dog. Let's go.
So, in your opinion, how would our view of space change if the moon was made of cheese, like actually made of cheese?
Honestly, bro, I think some greedy ass people would try to find a way just to monetize it. So I think they would just look at the fucking moon or cheese moon or whatever you want to call it as just a money grab. So I think it'd probably cause some wars, and then then eventually America would probably be the front runner to go and charge an ungodly amount of money for some pieces of cheese off the moon.
Yeah. For some reason, when I read that, I was thinking of those moon pies, like those little Debbie moon pies. I never ate them, but I remember seeing them. Yeah, it's like I feel like
I never had one.
I could see that's probably a good thing that we have not had those because
I don't think anything you see in a vending machine is probably not that great for you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that happening if that does, you know, with people trying to turn that into some sort of profit.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes.
I was thinking like, how would the water be affected? Because, you know, the moon does affect the tides and all that. It's like, how's the ocean going to look with?
Yeah, I think with this question, I probably should have been like smoking a joint instead of drinking wine. To then I maybe would be able to really get on the same vibe with you on this. You know what I mean?
You know, it's just sometimes it's just pop in my head.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
So for the second one, how would you change how you acted if you knew 100% of the world was a simulation?
Oh shit! I probably okay. Maybe you have heard this, but I'm like a wild motherfucker. You know what I mean? So I probably would just be even more wild.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like way more.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very direct person as well, so I think I would just really just say it like I feel it. You know what I mean?
I feel like you would bring Grand Theft Auto to real life.
Oh shit! I like how you go straight to like I'm just this fucking homicidal criminal.
No, I just mean like, you know, just take any car and then just drive around and go off some flips and, you know, get some money and have some fun.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a quicker payday than training for a fight, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that one's like you really just letting the gate go. You really just letting the floodgates open by just saying, "Oh, it's a simulation. Go crazy."
I hear you.
That's true.
You gotta. I feel like that moon one was a whack question, bro. Give me another one. Give me one more. Let's go. You got over 100 of them.
That's true. Oh, okay. This is going. What would be the first few things you would try if you found out you were completely impervious to physical harm?
I would just go like up to heavyweight and fight.
Oh,
if you know what I mean, then I would be like 5-weight world champ. You know what I mean? I would get all the belts.
Because you were like punching, and you're like, why is this guy going down?
Yeah, brother, you can't knock me out, dude. I'm walking straight to you and taking you out, bro. You know, I'm gonna get all the belts.
See, I thought that one would speak more to you than the moon.
Yeah. Like I said, if I was on a different, you know, if I had a different substance in me, then, you know, I think I would have been able to come with some better for that question, but whatever.
There you go, man. So, Austin, where can the people find you on social media?
Only on Instagram at AC the Rolling Stone. And that's it, man. That's what they can find me. Holla at your boy, you know. I try to engage as best I can. You know, just depends what type of mood I'm in. So
yeah. And if you're a youngster listening to this episode, A, I hope you're okay with curse words, and B, hit this man up if you want to get some training done back when COVID is no longer a thing and we're able to, you know, have physical contact with other people.
Thank you so much for sticking around until the end of the episode. If you like what you heard or watched and would like more episodes from Keoni Chats, the show can be found on all major podcast platforms under Keoni Chats. A video version is available on YouTube under Keoni Chats as well. So like and subscribe on those platforms to keep in the loop as far as the next episode released. But if you would like to be a guest, go ahead and email me your story at kcmedia13@yahoo.com, and I'd love to get you scheduled. To keep up to date with all of the episode release announcements on social media, the KC Media brand can be found on Instagram and Twitter under KC Media 13. And then on Facebook, it can be found under Conluke Media. So until the next episode, everyone, please take care.